Here in Normandy, the rescue began. Here, the Allies stood and fought against tyranny in a giant undertaking unparalleled in human history. We stand on a lonely, windswept point on the northern shore of France. Today, as 40 years ago, our armies are here for only one purpose: to protect and defend democracy. The only territories we hold are memorials like this one and graveyards where our heroes rest. We will always remember. We will always be proud. We will always be prepared, so we may be always free.
President Reagan would have loved today's mixture of racing and remembrance. Now on FX, the MBNA America 400. But first, America's best drivers will take a backseat for a special anniversary and a moment in time that lives on. D-Day, June 6, 1944. It was exactly 60 years ago that Allied troops risked their lives and gave their lives to defend freedom. Why did they do it? 20 years ago today, speaking in Normandy, France, the late President Reagan said it was faith, belief, loyalty, and love. Coming up, a day of racing begins with a salute to heroes.
NASCAR on FX. It's brought to you by MBNA.
And welcome to the MBNA America 400 pre-race show, coming to you from Dover International Speedway, a track labeled the Monster Mile on this special day, in our Hollywood hotel located trackside where there's a lot going on. It's the place America gathers every weekend for NASCAR. Along with Jeff Hamlin, former crew chief, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for being with us. And Jeff, we've got Jeremy Mayfield on the pole. We got Ryan Newman, who's won the last two races here at Dover, going for the three in a row. And the Green Monster we know at Fenway. Why do they call this the Monster Mile?
Well, first and foremost, this is a very special day for everybody in this country. And when you think about Dover, well, this is a special racetrack because you need to attack this racetrack to be successful. But because of the fact it is so fast, so narrow, pit road is also very narrow. You can't make any mistakes, whether you're a pit crew member or a driver. If you do, that's when the monster will jump out and get you.
All right, so which drivers should we keep an eye on?
You got to keep an eye on guys like Kurt Busch. Had a great final practice. On top of that, Elliott Sadler coming on strong, and Jeff Gordon, he's getting ready to try to make a rebound this weekend. So had a bad week at Lowe's, but looking to come back. I think these are guys you got to keep an eye on.
All right, today's race called a salute to heroes, the heroes of D-Day, and as one historian put it, D-Day, the pivot point of the 20th century. In the greatest sea invasion of all time, Allied troops went ashore on the Normandy coast to liberate Europe from tyranny. It was General Omar Bradley who said, every man who set foot on Omaha Beach that day was a hero. Bobby Labonte's car, a special D-Day paint scheme on it for today's race. Labonte driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, and as Larry McReynolds discovered, the Gibbs team has special ties to D-Day.
I'm here with president of Joe Gibbs Racing, J.D. Gibbs, and J.D., your grandfather was a huge part of that day, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sure was. My mom's dad, Jasper Escobar, was in a 507th Parachute Infantry and was sent out over France on that evening and wound up getting shot and won the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart for some of his acts of bravery that day.
Well, it's obvious talking to you, you're very proud of your grandfather, and you certainly should be. Every Sunday that we watch these Next Step Cup races, we look at the racetrack and we see the heroes of Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. But as I talked to J.D. Gibbs, the real heroes was the guys that were on the beaches of Normandy 60 years ago, June 6, 1944.
And moments ago, 5 D-Day veterans on behalf of the thousands who were there in France honored on this stage: Charlie Worley, Ralph Kelly, Joe Lofthouse, Edgar Start, and my own father, Gene Myers, who at age 19 was on an LST at the Normandy invasion and often spoke of the heroes, the men who did not return that day on D-Day. A grateful nation and a proud son say thank you. We'll continue from Dover, Delaware, the race and the salute to the heroes when we come back here on FX.
how you measure a man.
Clay Aiken, part of the ceremony here in town, also to perform and raise money for the fight against autism. He will also sing the national anthem. Clay's brother Brett has actually enlisted and will join the Marines in July, and also our Fox director Artie Kempner, honored for his hard work with autism research. As we welcome you back to the MBNA America 400 pre-race show, thanks for staying with us. Today we salute the heroes of D-Day as we get ready to go racing. Now, Ryan Newman, who won 8 races last year, yet to win this season, still in the top 10 in the points race. Last year, Newman did the Dover double, winning both races at Dover International. Newman, a degree in engineering from Purdue, as you well know, but as smart as he is, he couldn't find a way of having to get out of our sit-down choice game, the often imitated game of choice. We call it 10 laps win. Home-cooked meal or going out to eat? What do you prefer?
Married now, home-cooked meal.
Okay, and do you have a favorite meal?
Chicken parm's always good.
Comics or crossword puzzles?
Comics, I'm more of a comedian than I am a... although my grandmother is a big crossword puzzle buff, so.
Short track or super speedway?
If the super speedway is anything that's unrestricted, then super speedway.
Okay. You grew up in South Bend. We have the Irish or Boilermakers?
Oh, Boilermakers.
No question.
Yeah. No good reason to be against the Irish other than just the fact that I didn't like them.
A sitcom or reality TV?
Sitcom, I'd say.
Okay. Talking seasons now. Summer or fall?
Summer.
How about Bill Murray or Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
You have a favorite movie of his that you've seen? Or?
Oh, I know. Dumb and Dumber.
Music. Do you like more country or more rock?
Dave Matthews Band.
How about the old point system or the new point system?
Doesn't matter.
Friends or Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
The
only one with a Newman.
Newman, right? How many times have you heard that in your life?
5 or 6.
He heard it once again. Brian Newman, there he is coming off the stage.
He's such a comedian. Can you believe that?
I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Low-key personality, intense driver. But as we mentioned the points, let's take a quick check. And we've passed the 1/3 mark of the season, Jeff. 12 drivers within that 400-point mark or the top 10 as they chase for the championship. Look how tight Jimmy Johnson within 5 of Earnhardt Jr.
That's really close at the top. But how about the guys back there toward the bottom? Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman. They know they need to start making a move to make sure they don't lose any more ground at a place like Dover.
We'll see if Jimmy Johnson, who's had success here, although last year a tough finish here, 2 years ago he did the sweep. Can he catch Junior today? We'll be back as we count you down to racing. Thanks for being with us on this special weekend from Dover, Delaware, here on FX.